Disclaimer: I do not own the clips or music shown. These are used for review and entertainment purposes. Thank you. Oh, greetings Gap House and Gap House. It's me, Camden, on channel Camden. And you see, today I'm dressing up as Dipper Pines, which is totally an accurate cosplay of him. Pretend this is a journal. Alright, boys. I talk about so much about shows I loved as a kid. But this one is something else, bro. This one was a true classic. Every single episode was interesting, and they put something different and unique every single episode. Gravity Falls. So basically, this is a show about two twins, Dipper Pines and Mabel Pines, going into a small town named Gravity Falls with their great uncle, Uncle Stan. And they go on a bunch of crazy adventures with a bunch of paranormal activity. Literally everyone loves this show. Everyone. It's been praised so much by the internet, and there's a lot of passionate fans out there. And today, I'm going to talk about how much I love this show. And I decided to review it because, one, it's summer. And of course, I watch Gravity Falls every summer because it takes place during the summer. Get it? Just like Phineas and Ferb and Ben 10. And for number 2, it's its 10th anniversary. Gravity Falls is 10 years old. I feel old. And also, did I mention that the show is also a part of my childhood talks? Okay, so yeah, I've grown up with this show, and I really, really loved it. Like, during the summer is where Disney XD and Disney Channel, like, had the show on a marathon, non-stop, Gravity Falls. Yeah, and I remember as a kid, I looked up on Google if Gravity Falls was a real town. I was disappointed. I remember seeing an image of a Bill Cipher statue when I searched it up. I remember a certain episode that I'll talk about later, which had my jaw dropped when it happened, and I was just like, suspense filled. I was like, oh my gosh, like, what's gonna happen next? Remember that final episode made me feel really emotional. And I think that ends our segment of childhood talks. And of course, we can't talk about shows without talking about the characters. First character. The first character goes to Dipper Pines. He's a sweaty, socially awkward kid who is also very curious about certain things in Gravity Falls, and it causes him to find out all the paranormal activity out in the world. And he finds a journal, wonders who the author is. We'll get to that later. Also has a crush on Wendy Corduroy, and she's 15, and he's 12. Yeah, of course, they obviously don't get together. Dipper is one of the most iconic cartoon characters of the last decade, and his signature look alone is cosplayed a lot, and of course, he wears the same thing every episode, like all cartoon characters. I'm wearing his fit right now, which is totally accurate. And Dipper is voiced by the talented Jason Ritter. Disco girl, come And Dipper has some notable episodes, like Dipper versus Manliness, which I showed that up right there, where he has to kill a bear with multiple heads to prove that he's manly. Oh, and the bear is voiced by Alfred Molina. Hello, Dipper. And episode where he goes into a store and then he meets old ghosts that hates teenagers. Now, enough about Dipper. Now to the next character. Mabel Pines is very upbeat, and unlike Dipper, she's very social with people, maybe a little bit too social. And during the summer, she's very interested in romance.
Do you like me? Yes, definitely, absolutely.
I rigged it.
Mabel, I know you're going through your whole boy crazy phase, but I think you're kind of overdoing it with the crazy.
And she's voiced by the talented Kristen Schaal. And she's a great character. She's really fun and also very funny. They're basically the same words. And also, Dipper wears the same clothes every day. Mabel wears different sweaters each episode. It's still a sweater, but it's something different. There's an episode that she had to save a boy band that was genetically made in tubes, and they're clones. The episode where she had to prove to a unicorn that she was truly pure of heart and not bad at all to get the pony's hair. She also has a pig named Waddles, and she has a rival named Pacifica Northwest, which is basically the blonde bully. You know, we always have those Regina Georges, even in real life. Next character, hands down, the best character in this show is Grunkle Stanley Pines. Other people have Dipper or Mabel as their favorites, or even Bill, but me, it's Grunkle Stan. Grunkle Stan runs a tourist attraction named the Mystery Shack, where he has totally real attractions on paranormal things that are not fake at all, and he's totally not ripping them off. Yeah, he's a con artist in this show. He breaks a lot of laws in this show. He steals things. And he also taught a bear how to drive. I don't know how you can just wake up one morning and say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna teach that bear over there how to drive, because I'm Grunkle Stan. Oh, and he's voiced by the creator of the show, Alex Hirsch. This is not the only character Alex Hirsch voices. He voices Bill Cipher, Seuss, and a few others. Go from a voice like Stan and go to a voice like Seuss.
Bill, we'll meet again. Don't know when.
But yeah, that's enough on our great Uncle Stan. But not completely enough, because on the outside he seems like a con artist, but in the inside there's more to him than meets the eye. Gosh, I still can't escape them. You see, in season 2, the show gets a bit wilder. But yeah, there are other characters such as Seuss, which is a man-child that really loves Grunkle Stan, and he's very fun and very cool. There's also Wendy, who I talked about earlier, which is pretty cool also. And there's also Old Man McGucket and Lazy Susan, Toby Determined, who's a loser. And we have Bud Gleeful. Why don't just go into a recording booth and start voice acting?
And then we get to Lil Gideon.
Okay, one of the main villains of the show, Lil Gideon. He's just as a con artist as Stan, if not even worse. I mean, of course, he's the villain. And he has a crush on Mabel, and when Mabel rejected him, he got really mad. And that's when he became the main villain. He's been trying his hardest to get rid of Grunkle Stan and try to take the shack and steal his deed. Even gets to a point where he summons the real big bad of the show. Basically, the Thanos of the show.
Oh, Gravity Falls, it is good to be back. Name's Bill Cipher. And I take it you're some kind of living ventriloquist dummy? I'm just kidding, I know who you are, Gideon.
Bill Cipher is a very funny villain, but at the same time he's very terrifying. Every time he's on screen, you wonder what's the craziest thing he's gonna do next. He gets crazier and crazier each episode. First, he tries to go into Stan's mind and try to steal the deed for Gideon. Next, he takes over Dipper's body and basically possesses him, and which Mabel calls him Dipper. And then next, he puts a full-on invasion in Gravity Falls, which I'll get to later. Now, what I've been talking about earlier, there's this one episode in Gravity Falls that was one of the most nail-biting episodes of a cartoon I've seen as a kid.
Basically, the episode's plot is Grunkle Stan is trying to open a portal, and the government is trying to figure out what's going on. And Dipper and Mabel really question, is Sir Grunkle really a good guy? Is he really what he seems? Does he really even care about them? Should they even trust him? Like, those questions are emphasized all throughout the entire episode, and little me was really interested and really started thinking about some things. It was really thoughtful of a kid's cartoon to have this type of suspense. Nowadays we have them, but still, of its time. Wow. And then a certain character gets revealed.
What? Who is that?
The author of the journals. My brother.
My mouth just dropped at the end. And then you would think, wow, a 10 bro were so original. And it is very interesting. You see, those two were brothers. One was Smart, which was Great Uncle Ford. The other one was Grunkle Stan. And then they really got along, just like Dipper and Mabel. But as they got older, they became more distant and started to become more angry with each other. And then Great Uncle Ford became more like Dipper, became more interested in the paranormal activity. And then one day, he got caught up in a portal, and then Grunkle Stan has been trying to find his way to bring him back for 30 years. And, you know, on the surface, you wouldn't think Grunkle Stan would be aware, like completely aware or even interested in the paranormal activity. Season 2 has revealed that he is aware, but now he would have something to do with it. And, who voiced Great Uncle Ford? She. He wants pictures of Spider-Man. I want you to think, Mark, think! So it's not his tempo.
Great Uncle Ford is one of the coolest characters in the whole show. And it's nice to see that someone as interested in paranormal activity as Dipper is. And Dipper and Great Uncle Ford bond a lot on how weird and crazy they are, while everyone else just think of them both as, super weird.
My work is far too dangerous for a single living soul to spend even 1 second in... Wait! Our quest shall be our sweet
The show mashes humor with suspense, and it goes really well. It has a very, you know, like a vibe, like a sort of horror and mystery vibe to it, but also, it's a very funny show. You see, it's a great show about kids going on paranormal adventures, and it has a bunch of mysteries. There's time travel episodes where they go back in time to discover why Seuss doesn't like his birthday that much. And it's because his father abandoned him. Episodes where they go down a bottomless pit and they share different bite-sized adventures they had in Gravity Falls. The episode where Grunkle Stan tried to run for mayor. Grunkle Stan in any political position would be very scary. But it'll be very fun also. There's also an episode where Dipper clones himself. Also original. And Dipper complicates himself when he's trying to talk to Wendy. And this is what he names his clone. You know the name I always want. Tyrone. Yeah, it's confirmed. Dipper always wanted to be named Tyrone. And Dipper is also a nickname, not his real name. And I know Dipper's real name. They never said it in the show, but I know exactly what it is. And a few people also know what it is. You just gotta Google it. His name is Mason. And then we get to the last few episodes of the series. Rumorgeddon, where Bill takes over all of Gravity Falls, and it's basically a huge apocalypse. Dipper and Mabel and the rest of the gang have to figure out a way to stop him. So then they get literally everyone that's been in the show, Avengers Endgame style, and they all work together to stop Bill. And it's awesome.
Good pig.
Get him, Gobblewonker!
In the episode, when I compared it to Endgame, there are moments that can make you feel very emotional. And it made 10-year-old me feel emotional. And I remember there was a note at the end that said, "See you next summer." I didn't see him next summer. Yeah. Because after that, that was the end of Gravity Falls. No season 3 and no reboot, no nothing. And I hope they will never make a live-action Gravity Falls. Please don't. Please don't turn Gravity Falls into Riverdale. So, what do I think of it?
This show is amazing. Almost everything about it is so good. I'm not even saying this because I've grown up with it. It's just so good. And it gets better when you get older. Like as a kid, you like it. These are one of those things that you like as a kid, but you'll like even more as you get older. And this show is so good. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna keep praising it. I do not care. I love it very, 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 very much. It has great characters, great mystery, great humor, great everything. It's just so good, man. And Alex Hirsch, if you are watching this video, I want you to let you know that you have made a masterpiece. You have made a modern masterpiece, and this show should be in a museum, okay?
This show is so good, it got other cartoons after that got inspired by it. Amphibia, the Owl House, and even the DuckTales reboot got some inspirations from that. Because it's truly one of the most iconic cartoons of the last decade. So, I give it 10 donuts. This show is a masterpiece, and if you have never watched it, get off your couch, bed, chair, whatever, and go watch it right now. You will not be disappointed. Also, can I talk about how the theme song slaps? Comment, not a mean comment, and subscribe.